Welcome, ladies, gentlemen, finessers, and finessees. I'd like to thank my audience. I'd like to thank everyone on hand who's here to watch us do the Superlative Awards today. First and foremost, I would like to regretfully and very difficultly congratulate Clay on his winning the 2020 Fantasy Football Championship. 2020 has come to a conclusion finally by the grace of God, and what better way to end it by not letting the best team win. So we'll go ahead and get into that. So we got a few ideas today. I'm gonna try to keep it not as animated, based on the little thing right there that's trying to sleep. One cry and this is a wrap. So we got a few things here that we need to look at. I got my computer here. I've got several superlatives that I would like to get into. First off, I would like to just do a couple of things, and I'm not a fan of any of this. So hold on, let me see if I can schedule. Here we go. All right, hold on 1 second. Here we go. All right, schedule, team schedule. All right, Clay Holbrook. I just want y'all to see this real fast. Clay Holbrook, all his scores are right there. Clay Holbrook, he eclipsed the 140 mark. He eclipsed 141 points twice this season. Twice. Which, 141, that's a respectable number. I think we can all agree on that. But the problem that I have with it, is that both were on me. In week 2, WWE, I got my back blew out by Clay, 161 to 96. If you're curious, 96 is my second lowest output of the season. The first being a 93 to Galt. He gets fed. The second highest Clay output he's had all season, by 10 now, was against me in the championship game. How funny is that? Okay, so we have a oh my god, this is not easy for me to do. Mitchell Trubisky, 24 points. Like, really? Mitchell Trubisky. Aaron Jones, really? Myles Gaskin, 30. He got 30, man. 30. That's insane. So his highest output of the season by far, I think his next closest was like 20. So Myles Gaskin's with 30. Stephon Diggs with his highest output of the season, 32.5 points. By far his highest output of the season, I think beating his previous high by 12. Travis Kelce coming in with a standard, really, 16 points. If y'all want him next year, y'all are gonna have to get him in the first round, because if he's there, if I'm at 8 and he's there, he's mine. Simple as that. I'm tired of getting boned by tight ends. I'm not doing it anymore. I'm just not doing it anymore. I promise you, I'm not doing it anymore. Also, we need to talk about doing an auction next year. Auctions is you get a certain amount of money, you put down how much money you think a player's worth, and you can get them. So, like next year, Travis Kelce, let's say my allotment is $100. I would put down 95 of it on Travis Kelce, because I'm really, really tired of getting boned by people like TJ Hawkinson with 2 points. So I'm done. I'm just, quite frankly, simply not doing it anymore. I'm not doing it anymore. So, yeah, we need to talk about that, but that's another conversation for another day. Calvin Ridley, 12.3 points. That's pretty standard for him. I mean, every single person got double digits except DJ Moore, which is to be expected against a good Redskins defense. Jason Sanders got 11. Baltimore's defense got 11. I mean, it was just clicking on all cylinders. So the spoon was real. Not to mention CeeDee Lamb on his bench with 20. Derek Carr with 24. Jeff Wilson with 30. I mean, and then not to mention, I got Terry McLaurin out, wide receiver 2, Keenan Allen, wide receiver 1, out, Michael Thomas, arguably the second, third best receiver in the league when he's healthy, out. So I got to replace them with the crazy thing is, I replaced him with people like Emmanuel Sanders. Emmanuel Sanders was my fourth highest scorer, and from position players, he was my third highest scorer. So it's absolutely insane. My team just is complete and utter garbage. So we're moving forward here, moving right along. We'll get to the superlatives really fast. All right. Anything that you don't agree with? Come at me. That's fine. Talk to me. We can figure it out. Let me get something pulled up really fast here for you guys. Hold on. Wait. Okay. So the best drafter, that is our first superlative, and this is one of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 superlatives. Our first one is going to be the best drafter. Our best drafter is going to be between two people. I'll let the people decide. My vote would be Clay or Gary. Gary drafted Adams, best receiver in the league. Raheem Mostert, one of the best. If Kyle Shanahan could just pull his own head out of his rear end and realize that they only have one good running back and they could just use one, then he would be amazing. But he put out numbers today, whatever. He drafted Dalvin Cook, who was arguably the best running back in football. Ryan Tannehill, who's like the third best quarterback. He drafted Jonnu Smith. Clay, look at his roster now. That's who he drafted. The sucker, he didn't trade anybody. So whatever he has now, he's got. But his flex when he drafted on day one was Stephon Diggs, who is the dude was maybe the fourth best wide receiver. I mean, the dude got off. He had Calvin Ridley, he had Travis Kelce, he had Aaron Jones, and he did all this with Saquon Barkley going down. So the only reason I'm going to give best drafter to Clay over Gary is because Gary drafted Kerryon Johnson, which makes me want to vomit in my mouth. Like, oh God, I actually almost threw up. Sorry. Okay, yeah, no, so that was just one horrible decision. Clay really didn't have any weaknesses in his draft. So Clay, best drafter. You didn't trade anybody, which we'll talk about later. I don't like that. And you took it to the championship, and I'm not a fan of that. You get spoon-fed, but nonetheless. By the way, I had 3 losses on the year, and 2 were to Clay, so I don't like that at all. So the biggest spoon-feeding overall, there's a couple things here. This year is a lot of mini spoon feedings, not like any crazy spoon feedings like normally how cheese is used to. We have James Robinson off waiver wires. Ski was like, you know what? I'm just gonna grab him real fast. How about you just grab him and get the 4th best running back in the league? How about that? That's a spoon feeding. And then the other is Tyreek Hill having 30 points with 1 minute left in the first quarter. That's absolutely insane. But really, though, I mean, even though Skeet's team was incredibly inept and not very good at all, I'm probably going to have to give the biggest overall spoon feeding to the fact that James Robinson was who he was this year. I mean, that's crazy. The dude had well over 1,000 yards, had like 13 touchdowns. I mean, every week he was putting you double digits. I mean, hey, you got a problem, come to me. Hardest anti-spoon feeding. There's a couple things. It could be the Dak Prescott injury. That's a big thing. It could be the fact that Skeet's first 4 draft picks got injured, which did happen. But I'm going to have to, and I don't like giving this award to Cheese because he normally gets spoon-fed a lot. But take me back to week I believe 12 it was, or week 11. Tyreek Hill, playing against the Broncos, catches a 35-yard about a 45-yard touchdown. That's 10 points. And he catches it, and it bobbles, and he brings it in. Catch. He walks off. Andy Reid walks away, and they run the next play. And I'm just like, what's going on here? He caught the ball. That's 10 points. That play resulted in a 4-point for Harrison Butker. That play alone kept Cheese out of the playoffs. He lost by 15 points. That's probably the biggest anti-spoon feeding. He lost by 15. Tyreek Hill doing that. I think that play alone, if it would have stood, it probably would have won the game for him. For Cheese, got him in the playoffs. And this was all, coupled with the fact that Justin Herbert, he had like 4 points that game, his lowest output of the year. I don't even remember who they were playing, but they weren't anything special. James Conner getting hurt. I don't like him anyway. I don't like the fact he can get 10 yards a game, but 2 touchdowns. I'm not a fan of that. But nonetheless, he averages maybe 10 a game. That also would have put Cheese over the top. Snell giving him a point. That just give him 5, he puts him over the top. So, hardest anti-spoon feeding. Cheese, I got you, man. I'm looking out. I do this. I give you a hard time, but anytime there's anti, no matter what it is, I'm your guy. I got you. The injury bug, a.k.a. the Grim Reaper. I don't think there's any dispute to the fact that this was Skeet. First 4 draft picks, gone. Drafted Michael Thomas, Julio Jones. He drafted Austin Eckler. He drafted Marlon Mack. First 4 picks, gone. Finito. Nada. Nothing. I think over the whole season, those guys probably got less than 80 points, which is insane. So, you are the Grim Reaper, Skeet. I will present your award in the form of death off Family Guy. The biggest finessing, I would say this was the collusion trade that we all know about. But there's actually one that's a little more manner than that. Just one. Zach Scoggins had a deathly bias against David Montgomery. Understandably, he's not very good at football. So he's not very good. Last year, he wasn't very good. I drafted him in the 4th round thinking I was going to win the league off of it. Did nothing. Absolutely nothing. I was like, I'm not touching the guy. I'm not touching him because he don't touch the end zone. I'm not doing it. So, boom. Gary said, you know what? I'm going to go in there. I'm going to get him. I think the offensive line's a little bit better. Schedule's trash. I'm going to get him. He's mine. Boom. David Montgomery for Curtis Samuel. David Montgomery thus went on to score over 100 points over the span of 4 weeks. And then Curtis Samuel was dropped onto waiver wire by Zach a week later, thus getting picked up by Gary. So Gary literally just said, hey, I'm just going to grab David Montgomery and just put him right over here on my team. So biggest finessing, that's so good. It's probably one of the best things I've ever seen, really. But let's see. The saddest team. I don't think there's any question here. It's got to be Skeet. The dude is just. I can go look at his team really fast. Oh boy. Shoo. All right, hold on 1 second. It's hard to look at, really. And the dude, he scored so little points just over the last 2 months. It just scored nothing. Teddy Bridgewater's starting quarterback, Mike Davis, Tyler Lockett, Marvin Jones, Noah Fant, Cam Newton, Tyler Lockett, Jimmy Graham. Oh boy. Nothing against you, Skeet, but my gosh, that is not very good. Yeah. So, saddest team, Skeet. I don't think there's any way I can prevent this from happening. All right, so you're very bad, Skeet. The biggest bore, quick to the T, boom, biggest bore. Clay. I mean, the dude made a trade, I think, and it wasn't even a crazy trade. He had a good team, so I guess he didn't want to trade. But I would come to him with like legitimate things to trade, and he'd be like, so, boom. Let's see here. We got the hardest blue balls of the year. That's down to 4 people in my opinion. Michael Thomas, Christian McCaffrey, Jonnu, Zeke. Yeah, how about y'all get my daughter's out of line. She's hollering, so let me go see what's popping. I get back at y'all.